So instead of it being a shoot video, what I figured we could do is talk about how to make money as a creator, whether that's video or photo, and I could give it to you from my perspective. And we're gonna do that while I clean the house. So I'm gonna kill two birds with one twig, just like they say. Even though I was already receiving payments, having those conversations with clients, pricing people out, giving them numbers that I thought were just unrealistic at the time, became very, very difficult. And I put myself in a lot of predicaments. And there's things I didn't know. There's things that I just made mistakes on. And I learned the hard way. And so kind of what this video I want to outline is some of the mistakes that I made that you should avoid, and things that you can do to kind of ensure that you're going to get paid, and things that you can do to ensure that you're going to make money as a creator. And there's so many different avenues that you could take. So with that, bro, let's kind of just talk about it. Let's get into like the different factors, different ways to book clients, different ways to make money. And the biggest thing, the overall topic of this whole video is how to go from free to paid. Let's go. Establish a base price. So you need to establish what your base price is going to be. What's your entry price? And once you do that, that is your starting point. That is your foundation. You have to understand that over time, your prices will go up, right? But you also want to ensure that your prices are competitive, reasonable, and make sense for your skill set and the product and experience that you're providing. You don't want to overprice yourself if you're not actually meeting those price points, but you need to establish a base price. If you do not have one and you start soliciting for services, you are doing yourself an injustice or a disservice because you are leaving it open for haggling and discussion. One way to avoid that is by having a pricing guide. Create a PDF that has at least 3 different tiered packages of services that you offer. And you can either hang this up on a website, have it as a PDF and send it to them directly. Whatever you do, anytime anybody asks you what your price is, send them that document. Do not leave pricing open to discussion, because if you do and you are not good at sales, or you are driven emotionally by money due to the fact that you have to make rent or groceries, you need groceries, or you have a family, you are going to go back on your pricing. You're going to give people discounts and you're going to let people haggle you. It is one of the worst things you can do for your business. Trust me. I did the exact same thing. I struggled with it constantly. My whole first year, I changed my price for whatever the person needed because I needed the money. And it took me a year and a half to get established and set a price for people to understand that that's what it was. So in the beginning, save yourself the heartache. Create a pricing guide, stick to that pricing list. There are going to be people that are going to book you and pay, and there are going to be people that don't. That is 1,000% okay. You don't want to book everyone. If you're super busy, are you busy because you're good, or are you busy because you're cheap? Look at your work, look at your clientele, look at your pricing, and that will give you your answer. Stick to your pricing guide. Send that directly. Do not even have open conversations. If people ask for discounts, this should be your response. I appreciate your inquiry. At this time, I'm not offering a discount. I do offer quarterly adjustments to my prices. Stick to or keep up with my page, and that way you can see those offers or those benefits to you. Now, here's the thing. Do you offer those? No. But in telling people that, they will follow your stuff. And if they see it enough, they will eventually buy. And if they don't, then they will go away, and the system that you've created will filter them out, and you don't have to worry about that person anymore. That's the biggest foundational piece, is setting up a pricing guide, sending that out, sticking to your pricing guide, and not changing it. That is the biggest step in going from a free creator to a paid creator. There are going to be some growing pains. You are going to see a dwindling in conversation. You're going to see a dwindling in people reaching out and getting inquiries, unless your content and your ability to create is that deems your price. Because that's the biggest thing you have to ask yourself. Is my stuff good enough to meet this price? Or should I grow into it? Because the quality of my work is not there yet. And if the quality of your work is not there yet, do not fool yourself in thinking that you should be get paid as much as someone who's pumping out higher quality work. All right, so let's get into the next one. You also have to look at your social media and look at what you're posting on there. What does your subject line say? What does your bio say? Does it say DM me for collaborations? Does it say would love to shoot? Hit me up if interested. All of those things leave the onus to the person. It does not really put the ball in your court at all. And you're setting yourself up for failure, man. So if you are going to post something, ensure it says DM me for pricing. Make sure the word pricing is there. When you're posting stuff, say hit me up for booking pricing information. Things of that nature, so that way people know that there is an intent for them to pay you for your services. That will help filter out some of the people that have zero expectation of paying you. So if you're complaining that people don't want to pay, or you're complaining that people don't really pay in this industry, or whatever that is, you may be a result of what it is that you're doing. Whatever habits that you've created in your social media and your encounters and things like that. So if you're making yourself readily accessible, hey, I'm just going to show up and go do this. Hit me up. I'm going to have my camera with me. Or, DM me to collab. Oh, would love to collab on this. You're never going to get paid for that. And you're never going to be able to upsell any of your items or any of your products. So you need to take a look at that stuff and work through it. Upselling stuff. How do you make a little bit of extra money on a potential free experience, on something that is for exposure? Now, exposure is one of those things that can be a really, really gross word, because oftentimes when people say like, yo, it'll be good exposure for you, that really means that they don't know what they're actually bringing to the table, and they just want the end result from you. And you have to be careful with that. You have to understand how to monitor that and whether or not there's even going to be value there for you. How do you do that? How do you tell whether or not exposure is worth it? So go to someone's social media page, look at their followers. Are their followers within your target market? If they are not within your target market, that's an immediate no, and there's no benefit to you. 2, look at their interaction. All right, whether it's male or female, what kind of comments are they getting? Are they comments that sound like more of a community, or are they comments that they're being like sexualized, or are they comments that are being like just emojis or things that are from bots and things of that nature? If it is that of more of a community, people leaning on them for information, people asking advice, people saying that they admire them, look up to them, or want help from them, that's probably a better response than them being sexualized, them just getting emoji responses, or it's just the same 6 people that comment on their stuff. You are not going to get a good return on that. Don't waste your time. Also, in that, so if it is within your target market and they do have a good audience, look at how they post. Do they tag creators in the past? Do they shout out these people? Do they typically do that? Also look at, do they enhance their photos? Do they edit their photos after they get them from you? All of those things change the end product. Or if they don't tag you, then you're also wasting your time. So all of those things you need to evaluate before you ever agree to the exposure conversation with someone. What I've actually heard a creator say one time, and I thought it was great, and I've used it as well, is when someone comes at you with the exposure option, like, yo, this is gonna be great exposure for you, what I would say is, well, here's my price per hour. Can you explain to me, like monetarily, how that exposure is going to make up for that compensation? What is the potential benefit? If they do understand business and they're trying to come at you with that business idea of exposure or a partnership in this creation, then they should be able to explain that to you. And if they can't, then you shouldn't be doing it. And is that going to hurt a little? It probably will. Are you not going to shoot as much at first? Absolutely. But you have to set a standard for your business, because the issue is, once you have started to accept free work, exposure, and all of these things, it is super fucking hard to come back from that.